Yesterday, the Critical Mass event was hosted in Halifax. This was an amazing event where so many cyclists, we're talking hundreds of cyclists, got together for two reasons. One was to acknowledge a significant accident for a prominent cyclist in the Halifax cycling community, Rob Klue. Rob was injured in a significant, serious car accident, and really, Rob is known throughout the community for being a diligent cyclist, a highly experienced cyclist. It brought shockwaves through the community because if something like this can happen to Rob, it can happen to any of the rest of us. Those that commute to work every day, those that are out on a casual ride with friends, with family. No matter where we are in Halifax, cyclists should be able to ride safely on the streets with other traffic and other vehicles. It shouldn't matter if the bike is big, small, or the truck is big or small that's near it. The simple truth is, we all have a right to use the roads. We all have a right to be safe. But so many cyclists are hurt in Halifax every year, and we know that more is needed to ensure that our cyclists, that our family are safe. And frankly, if we all do this together, we can all use the road safely and have lower system costs because people are hurt, especially on bicycles. The healthcare costs are massive. They impact our system, they burden the system, and they hurt families. So if we are smart on the road, if cyclists are diligent and drivers are diligent, and if sharing the road really means something, if sharing the road in Halifax really means respecting all types of traffic and treating a cyclist with the same level of respect and consideration and awareness as any other type of traffic, then fewer accidents will happen. People won't get hurt as often. And people can actually enjoy getting exercise while commuting. Enjoy cycling and not being so worried about getting in a car accident, but simply appreciating where they are, getting out in the community, using green transportation, and ultimately using infrastructure that they helped pay for. Significant accidents are happening in Halifax, and really this event showed us one thing, that there's so much more that has to happen, and Halifax has to step up. It has to appreciate that more needs to be done to make Halifax a safe place for cyclists. There's so many cities across Canada and so many amazing examples around the globe where cyclist infrastructure is built as part of plans. It's respected as part of road infrastructure, and it's treated accordingly and funded accordingly. And so here we are in Halifax with imperfect weather for all year riding, and so we have months of the year where cyclists are out, just like motorcyclists are out, and people are using the roads. And so we have to think about that. Education is a big part of the picture here. Educate means drivers need to be aware of cyclists. They need to be aware of the rules of the road. They need to be aware of when one can turn right, how much extra time a cyclist may take to get into the speed of traffic, how road infrastructure challenges, so potholes and grates near the side of the road, will mean they'll need to use more of the road. There needs to be more education on this. And not just for our young drivers who are getting their driver's license for the first time, but for everybody. It should be an ongoing thought. You shouldn't need to be reminded, but we know, and especially cyclists know, that there's way too many close calls. And it's not just young people, it's not just new drivers, it's not just older folks or people who are touring in Halifax and aren't from here and don't get the routes. Everyone needs reminders, everyone needs education, everyone needs a reminder to be aware, because situations change, and when consequences are so severe, we just need to do better. So education is an important part. Engineering is another key part. Bike lanes are smart. Bike lanes protect cyclists. Bike lanes encourage active green transportation. And you don't need to look far on Twitter, Facebook, and the news to know that so many people out there hate bike lanes. They see them as taking away corridors for cars, taking away lanes for car commuters to get to work faster or wherever they're going, clogging up the downtown core. And there's so much when it comes to research about bike lanes and the benefits and the drawbacks. Bike lanes aren't perfect, certainly, but they're a valuable piece of infrastructure that needs to be considered by Halifax and other regions across the province because they work. They work to keep people motivated to bike, to keep people on their bikes, and to keep people safe while they're biking. And Halifax can integrate a smart transportation network using bike lanes and using other devices to help people get around safely. So, education, engineering and infrastructure. And what's the third piece? It's enforcement. The police need to do their job when it comes to making sure that the rules of the road are being followed. And that's just not by cars, but cyclists as well. Cyclists can't be blowing red lights. They can't be on and off the street just because they want to. We know that. And good cyclists don't do that. Safe cyclists don't do that. But there's too many close calls because drivers don't take enough care. Drivers don't take enough space around cyclists. Drivers don't appreciate how long it's going to take a cyclist to get through an intersection. Drivers don't appreciate or know turn signals when they see them from a cyclist. Police need to be there and looking and being proactive and diligent to appreciate infractions that impact cyclist safety. If people are speeding, they need a ticket. If cyclists aren't wearing helmets, they need a ticket. If enforcement comes from the city in a measured way, in a consistent way, cyclists will be safer, drivers will pay more attention, and everyone who is using the road will be safer. So, think about what it means, sharing the road. It means appreciating all types of traffic, all road users as equal. It means not giving less space to a bike. It means not driving close on purpose to a cyclist when passing them. It means appreciating that a cyclist is simply more vulnerable. They don't have a big metal box around them. They need space. You need to be extra diligent, hyper aware. Because, and as we see in cyclist injuries, accidents are severe. People have massive head injuries, multiple broken bones, and people die. Cyclists are dying because they're hit by vehicles that are massive and they have no protection. And we know that a helmet, while great, it doesn't protect against all injuries. It doesn't even protect against brain injuries totally. So we just need to do more. And no matter your opinion on cyclists and where they should be, everyone should care about people. And at the end of the day, no one wants their friends and family hurt. So think what you will about cyclists and where they should be and what tax dollars should be spent where. It doesn't matter. We should do everything we can to avoid injury and to have our loved one as the next one in the ICU. We shouldn't have to learn this lesson and have mass action because a prominent cyclist was hurt. You don't need to be prominent. The simple truth is, any injury to cyclists is too much. Accidents are not always preventable, but if we can stop even one from happening, it's worth doing. And to those that are concerned about comments online and from others, it's divisive. It's a challenging place. Cyclists are concerned because they see so much hate and hostility from drivers. And cyclists are also not helping the cause by breaking road rules. And we know that. But I think the point is this. We're never going to come to a completely perfect system where cyclists and other types of road users can coexist and have maximum efficiency, and bike lanes will never be perfect, and road conditions will never be perfect. And we know that. But if we all have a shared understanding of trying to prevent injuries, and a shared understanding that all people on the road need to be paid attention to and keep their best interests beyond shaving off a minute in traffic. If we all do that, we'll be a better Halifax. We're not going to solve this system overnight, but if we can just take small steps, looking twice, doing that second shoulder step, check, thinking about traffic flow, looking around us, appreciating where we are relative to cyclists and others nearby, being especially mindful at intersection, being mindful of low light conditions, bad weather, and expected cycling lanes. If we do those little things, maybe we're a better Halifax. Maybe we stop accidents from happening and harm from occurring. As a personal injury lawyer, I see these sad stories, and some of them don't need to happen. And not all drivers are bad, of course, and accidents are called accidents for a reason. They're not intentional. But mistakes happen, inattention happens, negligence happens. And if we just focus on awareness and being mindful of those around us, and if we can stop even one of these, Halifax will be better off. So be mindful of cyclists. And cyclists, be mindful of where you are on the road and leave a good impression to those motorists around you who take care. Give the thumbs up to the person that gives you extra space, because we need more of that. And if we're positive together, Halifax will be a better, more welcoming place for drivers and cyclists alike. Be safe.